Hello, I'm Murray Pollock from KHL. I'm with Philippe Cohet, who's Executive Chairman of Arcomet. I was the keynote speaker of today's International Tower Cranes conference. Mr. Cohet, that was an interesting presentation. You seem to suggest that the rental industry in Europe faces real challenges at the moment.
Yeah, I believe that based on our experience in Arcomet and Matebat, and also based on the most recent things we have seen where we have colleagues in the industry who are really struggling. The last 7 years crisis have been quite severe, and some of us are really facing challenges. So my presentation this morning was to try to bring some light around those ideas and try to propose some solution along the way to restore, I would say, the prestige of the industry.
Mergers and acquisitions was one of the things you talked about, and there has been lots of activity in that arena recently in the UK with ITC and Wolfcran. Do you see manufacturers buying more into rental, or do you see it as being a question of consolidation within the rental sector?
No, what I see is clearly the question being raised by the manufacturers to which extent they need to be involved into rental. And I think the manufacturers, as I try to explain, are certainly facing the problem of, let's say, having access to the market, and historically the market has been served by rental companies, and today, since the rental companies are struggling, the manufacturers don't really have a choice. If they want to secure their channel to markets, they have to do those moves. Now, practically speaking, what I'm leading today with both Arcomet and Matebat is also trying to drive this consolidation within the rental segment of the market to try to propose to the manufacturers and to the end users a solution for that.
You mentioned in your presentation that there is overcapacity still in Europe, and yet you want consolidation to give you the power to invest in fleets. How do you square the two, overcapacity and yet more investment?
I think, first of all, my comment was very general. In some countries, like for example in the UK, there's no longer overcapacity. There's actually a demand for more cranes, and so several people are bringing more cranes into the market, like NFT Radius we have seen recently. Clearly, I believe that through consolidation of players, the fleet management will be done more professionally. It will also provide a better channel for selling used cranes to emerging overseas markets. So I think this consolidation will bring more professionalism in fleet management, and fortunately will balance better capacity versus demand of cranes.
In the conference, one of the largest rental fleet owners in the world asked you about the potential conflict between manufacturers and rental companies if the manufacturer also owns a rental fleet. What is your view on that?
It's a valid point. I think the manufacturers need to understand that if they get too much involved into rentals, they will become the main competitor of us, the rental players. And so it's a valid point. I agree with NFTs that this is a question we need to ask to the manufacturers. And if the manufacturers, I would say, don't provide an answer, we will have to find our way around this problem, because for us, obviously, rental people to compete against manufacturers will be extremely difficult, both in terms of quality of the service and people, and obviously financial resources. So I think it's a valid question. We are going to continue to watch that. My answer to that would be, let's try to partner stronger between the manufacturers and the large rental companies. I think that's what NFT has been doing historically with Manitowoc-Potin, and that's what we'll try to do ourselves the same.
Final question. We have a packed room this morning, over 220 delegates. What kind of function does an event like this fulfill in the industry? How important is an event like this?
Tower crane is a relatively small and a relatively specialized industry, and I think the tower crane people like to be together, like to exchange views, like to also make some business. And we are all extremely busy, and we can't travel, we can't spend a lot of time visiting each other. So an event like this, I think, especially this year, the interest of this event is showing that the industry wants to meet, wants to regroup, to have different discussions, because we may be at a time where this industry is, let's say, changing to some extent. So I think this event is perfectly positioned to provide a forum for this kind of exchange, and I'm glad to see the success, because obviously I'm a big player in the tower crane industry, and it's good to have the family being together thanks to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Cohet.